Mindful eating interventions are often presented as gentle, encouraging tools to help people develop a healthier relationship with food. But when it comes to reducing the overeating of ultra-processed foods across different stages of life, the reality is far more sobering. While strategies like portion control, nutrition education, and behavioral therapy can help, they must contend with food products intentionally designed to override appetite regulation. This means that even well-structured interventions face steep, often overwhelming challenges, especially in environments where ultra-processed foods are cheaper, more accessible, and more culturally normalized than healthier options. Age-specific vulnerabilities make the problem even more difficult, exposing consistent patterns of relapse, limited effectiveness, and deep-rooted behavioral triggers that mindfulness alone cannot fully resolve. In children, mindfulness-based strategies struggle against the powerful sensory appeal and addictive properties of processed foods. Kids eat quickly by default, and ultra-processed snacks are engineered for rapid consumption, soft textures, strong flavors, and little need for chewing. Teaching children to slow down or listen to their bodies is often ineffective when the foods themselves silence natural satiety cues. Portion control may modestly reduce intake in structured environments like schools, but at home these strategies break down quickly. Children exposed to emotionally driven marketing or peer pressure rarely think about satiety at all. They crave what is fun, colorful, and socially reinforced. Even nutrition education, which is heavily emphasized in schools, has limited impact. Children can recite which foods are healthy, yet continue to choose ultra-processed options because the biological pull is far stronger than abstract knowledge. Teenagers face even bigger challenges. Their emotional volatility, hormonal fluctuations, and heightened sensitivity to reward make mindful eating interventions difficult to sustain. Portion control is often ignored when teens eat on the go, during social gatherings, or while distracted by screens. Nutrition education frequently clashes with teenage autonomy. Many teens interpret guidance as restriction or judgment, leading to rebellion rather than compliance. Behavioral approaches like cognitive behavioral strategies can help, but only when teens are motivated, which many are not. The combination of stress, peer norms, and constant access to high-reward foods makes relapse extremely common. Mindfulness cannot easily compete with the dopamine spikes triggered by processed foods, especially for teens who use these foods for emotional regulation or identity-based social bonding. Adults experience some of the harshest contradictions in mindful eating interventions. Portion control and mindful practices can work briefly, but the modern adult lifestyle, stress, fatigue, rushing between responsibilities, makes slow, conscious eating nearly impossible to maintain. Ultra-processed foods fit too easily into chaotic routines. They require no planning, no preparation, and no energy, which makes them irresistibly convenient for adults running on depleted willpower. Behavioral therapy can be effective, but only if adults have time, financial access, and stable living conditions, luxuries many do not possess. Even when adults succeed in eating mindfully for a week or a month, the biological effects of processed foods, rapid hunger return, weakened satiety signals, emotional reinforcement, lead many to slide back into old patterns. The constant fight against cravings becomes exhausting, especially when processed foods are omnipresent at workplaces, social events, and in the home. Older adults encounter unique and often underestimated barriers. Appetite regulation naturally weakens with age, making it harder to interpret hunger and fullness signals even under ideal conditions. Processed foods exploit this vulnerability by offering easy-to-eat, high-calorie meals that undermine mindful strategies. Seniors with dental issues, reduced mobility, or limited cooking ability often rely on processed foods out of necessity, not preference. Behavioral interventions may be recommended, but many older adults face cognitive decline, loneliness, or emotional stress that undermines their ability to maintain mindful routines. Nutrition education may come too late to counter decades of entrenched habits, while portion control often fails because the foods themselves fail to produce real satiety. Across all age groups, The biggest obstacle is that mindful eating assumes the individual is fighting a fair battle. But ultra-processed foods tilt the playing field completely. Their textures, flavors, caloric density, and rapid eating speeds are crafted to override satiety signals and trigger reward pathways. Expecting mindfulness alone to counteract industrial food engineering is unrealistic and often harmful because it encourages people to blame themselves for biological reactions they cannot control. Individuals attempt to be more mindful, only to find themselves overeating again and concluding they lacked discipline, when in truth the food itself is designed to push them past fullness. This is why relapse rates are high regardless of age. Mindfulness can support healthier eating only when paired with structural changes, access to whole foods, reduced exposure to addictive products, stable routines, and emotional support. Without these conditions, even the best interventions falter. The warning is clear. While mindful eating strategies are helpful, they are nowhere near strong enough on their own to counteract the deeply engineered pull of ultra-processed foods. Children lack the cognitive development to resist. Teens battle overwhelming hormonal and social pressures. Adults confront stress and time scarcity. Seniors face declining appetite regulation and physical limitations. Unless environments change, and unless processed foods lose their dominance, mindful eating will remain a partial solution to a much larger, more dangerous problem.